welcome you all for the second edition of Be with BCIC and interaction with the members. This initiative has been taken by our president, Mr. K.R. Shekhar, to see how BCIC reaches out to its member and what are the grievances they have and what are the good factors that BCIC has been contributing to the members. To hear their voices, this interaction has been organized. I hand it over to our president, Mr. K.R. Shekhar, to take it forward. So over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Prithvi, and thank you so much. Good morning, participants. Thank you so much for joining today's call. At the outset, my sincere apologies for joining 10 minutes late. There are some technical challenges. Sorry about that. But extremely happy to be amongst you. And I'm extremely happy to note that all my good friends from BCSC have joined. Mr. Vidyashankar, whom I regard very, very high, Mr. M.E. Srinivasan, a lot of my good friends have joined. Thank you so much for joining here. The idea of this program is just though we have a regular management committee meetings, our expert committee meetings, and from our perspective, whatever the ideas, vision, the thoughts that we are having, we are taking all the necessary steps to implement it. And I'm pleased to introduce my Vice President, Mr. B. Indu Shekhar, who is the Director of Strategy and Real Estate from Volvo. And
good morning, sir.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Indu Shekhar.
Thank you, sir.
Before I go on to my presentation, I just wanted to give few perspectives as to why we are coming this meeting. And also, I'd like to introduce some of my office bearers here and the team here. Let me introduce myself. I'm K.R. Shekhar. I'm a partner with Deloitte. Has been associated with BCIC for the last more than 2 decades. And I became a president in the last August 20. And then my term of the president, as most of you are, BCIC term of the president is valid for 1 year. And my term of the president will get concluded in the annual general meeting, which is likely to happen in the month of August 22. After that, Mr. L. Ravindran will take over from me, and Mr. Indu Shekhar will become a senior vice president. And Mr. Parasuraman, who was my immediate predecessor, continues to be a past president, and then he has been a great supporter and mentor for me in BCSC matters. And whatever we are doing, we are just taking his unfinished agenda of Mr. Parasuraman. That's all I would say that. Because when Parasuraman became a president, I was senior vice president. The thought that we had is that normally in any chamber, BCS is not an exception. Of course, we made a changes few years back, but every president will have a particular objective to do that. And Parasuraman and me were very, very clear. It cannot be your objective or mine. Let's understand what should be the common goal up to 22 and 23, and then let us execute the common goal of Parasuraman, me, and Ravindran. So we had an agenda for 3 years. So Parasuraman and the president term is only for 1 year. We could do only certain things in the 1 year. We cannot do rocket science in the 1 year. So Parasuraman did a phenomenal job in the 1 year. And then whatever the unfinished job of Parasuraman, I am trying to execute it in the current year. And what are the unfinished job of mine, Mr. Ravindran will execute, and afterwards it will go on. The journey will go on. The BCAC journey will continue to go. People may come and go, but the BCAC journey will continue to go forever. And with that intention only, we started working on this sort of objective with a mission and the goal. The idea of today's program is to explain what we are doing from a BCSC perspective for the benefit of members and for the benefit of industry. And then hear your voice from a member's voice, what exactly that you prefer from BCSC, and then understand from you what we need to do, and then take it forward. I would not call it as like a general body meeting. I would like to call what is called the investors meeting in a typical corporate life. The every corporate MD and the management will go to the investors, put their perspective for with them, take their inputs and go back. Similarly, though you are not a financial investors, but you are a biggest stakeholder for BCAC as the members. So we would like to present before you for 15 minutes in a capsule form what we are doing it. Fortunately, we are not running after financials and the numbers. We are just trying to put from an industry chamber perspective, what is the object and what is the thoughts and what are the action plans that we are doing it. Seek inputs from you and then make sure that BCAC works with the interest of the members. With that objective, we have kept this program. and I'm happy that we have got a reasonably good participation. But very honestly, on Saturday morning, expecting a 15 members to participate itself is a great job, great thing, and I'm happy. And I'm also happy to note that there are a lot of companies who are not members of BCSC have participated it. And after attending my program, I request you to become member of BCSC. If my program is not good, that is my fault. It is not a fault of BCSC. So BCSC is a great organization, and therefore, irrespective of the fact whether my program is good, my presentation is good or not good, we have great leaders in BCSC, like what some of you said, Mr. Vidyashankar, Parasuraman, solid leaders that we have. So I would request all the members, all the participants who are yet to become members of BCSC, request them to become members of BCSC, as your presence and your support will make BCSC more stronger. So with these kind few words, let me introduce my office bearers here, my secretariat team here. We have Prithvi, who is the Deputy Secretary General of BCSC, who has been what I would call a pillar of support and strength. He has been with BCSC for the last more than 15 years. We have Niranjan, who is Assistant Secretary General. We have Ms. Rupa, who is the Secretary for BCSC. Prithvi, Niranjan, and Rupa are my backbone in BCSC Secretariat. Without those three, we can't do anything. And I would like them to introduce. I would like to introduce them to you. And the more important key person which I wanted to introduce, I always keep him last because he's a key man. He is Mr. A. Murali, who is advisor to BCSC. He is the secretary of Toyota Susho India Private Limited, but he has been a phenomenal support to BCSC for the last 2 years. Not only is advising BCSC on various critical legal matters, but also leads the state government initiative with the help of Parasuraman, Mr. Vidyashankar, Mr. Devesh Agarwal, former president, and he has been at the forefront with various representations of BCSC with the state government. So this is the what I would call. You can call it as a brain trust of BCSC, or you can call it as a crack team of BCSC. This is the team. Me, my senior vice president Ravindran, who could not join today. He's the managing director of WealthMax India Group. Mr. Parasuraman, my past president, Mr. Indu Shekhar, we four are the office bearers, plus the secretariat staff led by Prithvi, Niranjan, and Rupa, and supported by Murali. What we call a core team or a crack team. That is how we are. So, Rupa, you have a presentation, or you want me to go to extempore, Rupa?
Sir, I'll be presenting few slides, sir.
Okay, please. I can talk about BCAC even in midnight, so I just want to check with you, Rupa, whether you have a presentation or not.
Mr. Shekhar, Mr. Parasuraman is also here. He can.
I know that. I would like to have Parasuraman after I speak, because if I did a bad job, Parasuraman can rectify my bad job and pass a rectification and make it a good job.
No, you are doing a great job, Shekhar-ji.
I always keep Parasuraman as a last. In a cricket, Sachin Tendulkar opens because he's the best batsman, but in presentation, he always gives the best person as the last, so that he manages all the past mistakes of the earlier speakers. The objective of the BCAC for the current year, which is coming out of what, as I said earlier, the tenure between me and Parasuraman, is the what I would call the 6 objectives: outreach, government interaction, eminence, special projects, governance, and member services. These 6 are our core categories and core focus areas. And part of member services today is what we are doing today with interaction with some of the members and the prospective members. Just go to the next slide, Rupa. Our mission is Namma Karnataka Gateway to Future India. Our vision is Look Beyond. And our tagline is Together We Should. I would like to spend 2 minutes on this because this is a very, very important part of our BCAC ethos, what I call the work ethics and the ethos. Without these 3, whatever the BCAC is doing will not fall into place. So therefore, anything that we do in BCIC should get reflected in this. Mission Namma Karnataka Gateway to Future India. And one of the important objectives of BCAC, when we had a discussion with Parasuraman, me, and my office bearers, along with the former presidents, is that BCAC should not restrict itself only to the representation to the government. BCAC should partner with the government as to how we can make Karnataka a great industrialized state for the benefit of everybody. And that is what we call the vision of Namma Karnataka Gateway to Future India. Last year, we released a report in support with Deloitte as how Karnataka become the best industrialized state in the post-COVID era. And the report was very well received by the state government as well as the central government. We had a phenomenal discussion with a lot of stakeholders in the state and the center. And we are continuing this. Probably I will come a little bit later as to latest discussions that we had with the government of Karnataka and central government on these matters. So that is our vision. So anything that we do, we wanted to fit into the Nama Karnataka gateway to future India. Our vision is look beyond. When we put the vision of look beyond, it is not look beyond of an organization, it is look beyond for any individual that is associated with BCIC. When we say look beyond, don't look today and tomorrow. You have to look beyond your horizon. You have to look beyond what is there in today and tomorrow. You have to go beyond it, and with a clear focus of taking the BCIC to the highest level. And that is what our vision of look beyond. Make Karnataka industrialized state, and look beyond your horizons so that you reach on the top. That is our vision. In fact, Parasuraman and me always believe sky is not the limit for the growth. If we need to articulate our belief of sky is not the limit for the growth, the best apt is look beyond. And together we should. Normally we would have seen together we can, but we don't want to say we can. Can is always, there is always sense of what I would call obligation, sense of not doing it. We don't want to have any option of not doing it. We wanted to have only one option. Together we should. In fact, I can just relate to the sports side. When Kapil Dev, who led the World Cup in 1983, when he was giving an interview, he said, I don't have a team, I don't have any plan B an option. I always have only plan A. And if the moment you have a plan B, there will always be a failure at a plan A. So I will never keep a plan B as an option when I was a captain. I have only one plan. And that is what I also relate, that together we should. There's no question of not doing it. These three form the core theme of BCIC, and it is just not for me and Parasuraman or anybody. It is the theme of BCIC for ages together, for coming forward years. And with these three themes keeping in our mind, we have structured our vision, our mission, and our tagline, and also our agenda for the coming year on these basis. Go to the next slide, Rupa. We have more than 18 expert committees. 18 was last year. We have split some of the committees. We have seen the committees here, and committees are doing a phenomenal job. I would like to say that. I would like to compliment every committee chair and the co-chair and the mentor for the jobs, what they are doing it, despite the fact they are all busy professionals, despite the fact their time for the organization, the demand for the time is much higher in the organizations, but the commitment what they've shown to BCS is phenomenal. And great, what I would call members in the chair. And therefore, I request some of you I heard speaking that please associate with these expert committees. Forget about the organization growth. As an individual, you will grow when you interact with this sort of leaders. As an individual, you will grow when you interact with a leader like Parasuraman. As an individual, you will grow when you interact with a leader like Mr. Vidyashankar. His thoughts and his points on ease of governance is phenomenal. As an individual, you will grow when you interact with some of the former presidents like Mr. M. Lakshminarayan and Harish, who are all great veterans. So it's important that you should become a member of the expert committees. And all my expert committee chair and the co-chair, if I put 23 committees, the chair and the co-chair, the experience, it will go in 5 digits of the experiences. Each one of them have got 30 years of experience. 23 chairs and the co-chair into 246 plus 23 mentors, 69 mentors plus 21 management council members. 21 management councils are great guys. 90 people, each one of them have got 35 years of experience, plus my former presidents. If I put together everything, the number of years of experience, collective experience at your disposal for all of you will be in 5 digits, or sometimes more than 5 digits of the experiences. So it's time for all the organizations and the members and the prospective members to leverage on this collective experience for the benefit of you, for the benefit of your organization, and for the benefit of BCIC. And that is therefore my humble request to every one of you here is that be with BCIC. When we put a line be with BCIC, it is just not allow you to go anywhere. That is not our intention. Be with BCIC means what we wanted to profess and what we wanted to lead you is that when you are with BCIC, you will get the collective experience of in 5 digits numbers of a collective experience of more than 90 members, which you would never get. And BCAC as an organization is a very flat organization, very calm organization. You will not have anything to worry. You will have an absolute peaceful and absolute professional organization which you would relish forever. Therefore, my request, the first request to every one of you is that associate with these expert committees, get yourself connected with them, get yourself work on the leaders. You will be benefited individually as well as professionally, as well as for your organization. Probably I could give one more statistic before I go to the next slide when I'm coming to the expert committees. We have released various reports, and when we release the various reports, we have a core group that is forming part of my members team, my expert committee members, and your contribution to those research reports will be of immense value to you, immense value to the organization, and immense value to the BCAC. In addition to this, we have a regular meeting with the office bearers, the chair and the co-chair and the members of the expert committees, which will be a great learning for me as an individual. Personally, it's a great learning for me. And that's why I'm sure it will also be a learning for you. Therefore, there's a lot of benefits are there for you as an individual, for you as a professional, and for your organization when you are associating yourselves with these expert committees. Go to the next slide, Rupa. Top 3 important programs that we are doing is 5 signature conferences. Out of 5 signature conferences, 3 has already been completed, 2 is in the pipeline. One signature conference is the International Tax Conference we did. Second signature conference is on indirect taxes. Third signature conference, what we did was on the national education policy. Phenomenal. In addition to the 3 signature conferences, we are having 2 more signature conferences. One signature conference we are having on April 8th and 9th, what we call the Business Leaders Conclave. It's going to be a phenomenal conclave, which we are going to look at it, and probably very soon you'll be getting information about that. Then the 5th signature conference about the Startup Summit, which we are working towards that. Probably it will happen in the March or in somewhere in July. We'll be having a Startup Summit. So the 5 signature conferences, so far the 3 has been a phenomenal success. Others will also be a success with all the support of you. 5 awards. We have launched CFO awards. We have launched Women Leadership Awards. We have launched what I would call Startup Awards. All 3 are in that line. And if you can go to LinkedIn of BCAC, you will see all the 3 awards. And there is a timeline by which February 20th is the last date for CFO Awards and the Women Leadership Awards. Therefore, I request every one of your organization, and please circulate your friends, request them to nominate for the CFO Awards and the Women Leadership Awards. It is an eminent jury that is going to select these award winners. CFO Award chairperson is Mohan Das Pai, supported by Mr. P.R. Ramesh, former chairman of Deloitte, Suresh Senapati, former executive director, Mr. F.R. Singhvi, joint manager of Sansara Engineering Limited, Mr. Usha Narayan, the former partner of PricewaterhouseCoopers. All 5 are eminent professionals. Similarly, Women Jury Awards is going to be led by Pankajam Sridevi, the former president of Bangalore Chamber of Industry and Commerce, Mrs. Gauri Kumar, Ms. Akila Krishna Kumar is the former MD of SCT Software and independent director of various companies. Mrs. Gauri Kumar is a former IAS officer, Government of Gujarat, led the Vibrant Gujarat Summit, and Mr. S.V. Nathan is the Chief Talent Officer of Deloitte. All are eminent people. Similarly, Startup Awards, Mr. Ravindran, my Senior Vice President, is running it. He has got a phenomenal jury, has already got 300 nominations for Startup Awards. And we are also looking at 2 more awards from innovation side and the CSR awards, the 5 awards from BCSC, which will be signature awards for the recognition of the profession in their work. Working with expert committees for 100 to 120 qualitative webinars. And probably Rupa is telling me, Shekhar sir, you have to revise your target because you're already closing 100 webinars. Probably I'll come a little bit later on that side. This is the eminence program that what we have launched. Go to the next slide, Rupa. Government interactions. We have been interacting with the various state governments, central chief ministers. We have got an ambitious program and we are already working towards that. Finance minister interaction has happened. We are planning to have one more interaction with the finance minister for the budget. We are working on that. Publishing 3 to 4 research reports relevant to BCAC. And this is what we like to say, the BCAC views. Out of 3 to 4, 2 reports are already been published. And it has been very well accepted and received by the government, both in state and the center. And I would like to commend my team because thanks to my first report on the economic research analysis, RBI has issued 2 or 3 clarifications on the credit limit side and for the MSMEs. Thanks to my team report, which has been accepted and amendments have been come from RBI clarification. The second report is on the tax administration reform and direct taxes led by Mr. Mohandas Pai and me and few other professionals. That report has been very well received by the government of India, and we have received various points that they want to clarify, which is separate the clarifications. Another 3 more reports we are working on that. One is a report on Karnataka human capital development. Another is a report on coexistence of the industry, society, and the NGOs based on the pandemic experience. And one more report also we are working on what I would call, we started planning that on the state power distribution reform. These 3 reports are in the pipeline, and very soon we'll be coming out of the reports. And yesterday, that's where I want to spend time. Yesterday, we had a great interaction with the government of Karnataka industry secretary as well as additional chief secretary. Phenomenal interaction. And they would like BCIC to partner them for the policy formulation. And we have accepted few areas, and BCIC is going to prepare an approach paper and the knowledge paper and then support government of Karnataka. So the idea is that of BCIC, as I said earlier, we are just not here to only to represent the challenges of the industry before the government, but working with the government on a proactive basis for bringing a right industrial policy, right investment policy, and represent the interest of the industry to the government on a proactive basis. That is our objective behind it, and we are there. And I'm very happy to note the kind of response that BCIC is getting from both the central and the state governments. Once again, it is the efforts of the team BCIC, starting from my predecessor, Mr. Parasuraman, and going with the current set of my expert committee chair and the co-chair. We are getting a very, very positive response and acceptance. Go to the next slide, Rupa. Outreach. We are having a monthly meetings with the members and potential members in industry groups. That's one of this agenda, what we are having it. We have opened BCS in Japan. We have opened office in Tokyo, and Mr. Murali is leading that. We already had a set of 2 conclaves on that. We are having one more conclave in India, Japan, Economic Summit conclave. We also formed a core group for global investors meeting to support government of Karnataka, led by a former president, Mr. Harish, who is doing Harish, supported by Parasuram and Mr. Lakshminarayan. Quite a lot of former presidents are part of that group on how to work with the government of Karnataka on global investors meeting. We have selected a core group. We are grading that. And CIVA forum also is on the pipeline. Probably it may get delayed, but still will be there. Go to the next slide, Rupa. This is our important project, developing women leaders. We have an exclusive women leadership, women empowerment committee, but we are trying to think now. We are articulating, can we come up with BCAC women network? We are on the process of doing it, and we wanted to encourage the women leaders. And not only that, we have requested every industry member to nominate 2 women organized employees from their organization for their expert committees. And I see a lot of women voice here today, and I would request them to be a part of BCAC. That gives a great value for BCAC and a great value for yourselves. Our core objective is to develop the women leaders. Not only that, as an objective, as a policy, we have taken a decision that every webinar of every conference of BCAC, every webinar, at least we'll have 1 speaker. Yesterday, we had a great session on hackathon, of student hackathon, led by our young BCAC group, Mr. Manas, as well as Ms. Richa Sarna. Great performance, absolutely an amazing one, where we could see participation by the interesting and enthusiastic students, supported by an organization like Honeywell and with the support of Amrita Institute of Technology. Phenomenal, it was success, and you could have seen in a social media and LinkedIn where we have posted that. So our objective is to develop the women leaders, young leaders, so that they become a part of BCAC and help BCAC to grow. So my request to all the women participants here to get nominated yourself to BCAC and other organizations. Make sure that women leaders in your organization to be a part of BCAC. There's no definition of leadership here, please. Anybody who is good enough is welcome to BCAC. That's all I would like to put it across. Academy of Excellence. We are working towards an Academy of Excellence for Skill Development Academy. Very soon you will hear the good news from BCSU on that side. We are almost on the finishing stage. It's like a marathon race. It's almost like the last 3 laps which Parasuraman and me need to carry that lap. And we are very confident that we'll be completing that lap, and very soon you'll get that announcement on us. BCSC Startup Mentoring Council. In fact, I was under the impression that a lot of chambers have started it. But I understand BCAC is the first organization to start at the Startup Mentoring Council, because yesterday I received one of the top-notch National Chamber of Commerce stating that they are likely to start this Startup Mentoring Council. They're asking some of them whether you would like to be a mentor. In fact, I received an email for that. And BCAC has got a phenomenal startup culture. And our basement, where we have got a place in our BCIC office, we have done it up, we have done interiors. We are going to open it up for startups on February 4th on a nominal rental basis, so that we could give them a place for them to work, place a good ambience with a conference hall, with a electronic, with all other facilities, infrastructure. We wanted to give them a startup. BCIC believes startup is the type of setup ecosystem which we want to encourage, and we wanted to support that. And that's the reason, in addition to providing an infrastructure support, we are also created a startup mentoring council. Last month, in every month, we are having a meeting of all the startups with the mentors chosen by BCSC, and we invite one of the external speakers. Last month we had invitation. We invited Mr. Siddharth Sood, co-founder of Wildcraft, which is manufacturer of travel bags and travel accessories. He spoke in the Startup Mentoring Council. It was phenomenal success. And again, next month we'll be inviting one of the speakers, and we have a regular mentoring session for the startups. So I would like the startup organizations also to take benefit of it. Go to the next slide, Rupa. Digitization, this is our one. Improving BCS, that's our governance side, which we are working towards. Just go to the last slide, Rupa. Anything else, Rupa? Yeah, our member services, we are publishing a regular updates. Prithvi, our DSG, is doing a weekly updates on what's happening, and all of the members will be getting it in the WhatsApp. It's also posted in our social media, LinkedIn. We release every 3 months. We release the newsletters on Synergy or BCSC magazine as well. Yuva Chakra, we do that. We are also issuing a certificate of origin visa recommendation letters to all the members who are part of it. So this is a member services. As a part of member services only, we are doing this program today, and we hope to do a reach to all the members to make sure that your aspirations for your organization gets fulfilled through BCSC, and BCA is a vehicle for us to reach the destination where your organization and BCSC where we aspire for. I think Rupa is the last slide.
Yes, sir.
And that's it. As I said, this is what we are doing it, and we are continue to do this. We continue to march in this journey. We'll continue to travel in this journey with your support, with the well-wisher support, and with my team which is present here. Thank you, members, for being here. Now I would request Parasuraman to say a few words, and then I would like to hear from you for 10 minutes what exactly you are looking from BCSC, and then we'll take it forward. Back to you, Parasuraman.
Thank you, President, and thanks a lot for a wonderful insight about the activities. First of all, I welcome all the members for today's meeting, and I really appreciate the great initiative by Mr. Shekhar and team to bring the members together for a common purpose. I think this is what we discussed, and I think I'm very happy that this has shaped up very well. And let me tell you, I think Bangalore Chamber of Industry and Commerce today is one of the foremost chambers, I would say, even in the country, because given the kind of activities in the last 2-3 years, and we have been able to see a huge response from the members. I think last year we cracked close to 200 plus events, and this year already the number has exceeded 100 even in the first 6 months. I think the team has done a commendable job under the leadership of Mr. Shekhar. I think this is great going. See, if you really look at the value add to the members, be it on any subject, manufacturing, human resource, MSMEs, taxes, infrastructure, or on the Industry 4.0, or on any related matters, including the women empowerment, women participation, diversity, student programs, industry, academia, research activities. I think BCIC has been regularly conducting webinars, seminars, interactions, and the government discussions, as said by Shekhar. I think we have been very active both with the central and the state government on all the policy reforms. So, if you really look at the value add a company can get from Bangalore Chambers, let me tell you, it is something amazing. If you really look at the kind of fee structure, what BCIC, being a non-profitable organization, we always said that members should get the maximum benefit. If you compare our fee structure with respect to any other chambers of repute, I think we are absurdly low levels. And the kind of value add that we have brought it to the table is something amazing. You can always go through our website, the kind of activities we have done and the kind of insights we have brought in. And the member companies benefited a lot. Be it the manufacturing best practices, HR best practices in energy, environment, government representations, and the kind of relief we got into the industries from time to time, be it on the environmental issues. Even yesterday, our president has returned to the Panchayat Secretariat to reduce the Panchayat taxes and not to increase in the current times. I think continuously activities are taken up, and every third day we make some representation to the government, and government also has been very, very supportive to us. So that's the kind of activities. And as Mr. Shekhar said, we have opened our Japanese office in Tokyo. This is again to promote industry and trade between both the countries. And many Japanese companies have set up businesses in Karnataka, and they are looking much beyond. Therefore, BCIC thought it is very important to support those businesses, and not just Japan. I think our president has got ambitious plans of focusing on 15 countries and going step-by-step approach. And we are also very actively connected with various consulate generals and trying to improve the international business and bring both industry, chambers, and the business communities to India and to Karnataka. Yeah, that is why we are very, very focused. And I'm sure the next team also will take it to the mountain heights. I think the current team is doing a great job. And the kind of 5 big events what the president described, I think the CFO Leadership Award, Women Empowerment Award, Innovation Award on the anvil. I think all those things are all big, big moves, and we have all got big people connected. So my humble request is, I think you should join Bangalore Chambers and also spread this message to your friends, other companies, tier 2 companies, tier 3 companies, because the proof of the pudding is in the action. You can see the kind of actions going on in Bangalore Chamber through our publications, the manuals, the websites, the LinkedIn, the social network, and so on and so forth. We also invite you to visit our office at MG Road. It's a beautiful office, and we have tried to maximize the benefit for members in terms of meeting halls. And as explained by the president, we have also dedicated one floor for promoting the startup companies for incubation at a very, very low cost, very, very subsidized cost. Therefore, I think more than my talking, I think seeing our activities is much, much better. So once again, thank you very much for your active support. And I'm sure BCIC will continue to play its very anchor role in the years to come. Even the budget meeting, I think the first is a huge discussion planned by our president. We have high-level discussions among the CEOs on the budget. And also after budget also, as always, we have planned the interaction session. And even with academia, even in our Mysore Innovation Excellence Center, we have planned a budget session. Our president is also addressing that meeting. Therefore, we have continuous meetings on a daily basis almost. Therefore, I'm very happy to be associated. And I only request more member companies should get the advantage and leverage the potential of Bangalore Chambers and its activities. Thank you once again. All the very best. God bless. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Parasuraman, for that. I just wanted to add one more thing. I missed it out. Thanks for Parasuraman to bringing it. We are having a live budget analysis on 1st of February at Conrad Hotel, and it will be followed immediately after the budget. We will have a BCIC analysis of the budget by experts. Our team of experts will be having a live analysis for 30 to 45 minutes. And the second morning, we are having a analysis of budget with the top-notch CEOs of Bangalore organizations, Mr. Kamal Bali, who is a expert in automobile industry, managing director of Volvo India Limited, and a great, I would call, a great supporter of BCAC and industry in particular, and Indo-Swedish relationship. I'm extremely delighted to have people like Kamal Bali on the dais of BCAC to articulate about his perspective. I should consider myself as a lucky when I'm talking to people like Kamal Bali. When I consider myself as a lucky, I wanted every one of you to get that sort of a benefit of people like Kamal Bali. The next person whom you are going to be a part of that is great guy, Mr. S. Vaitishwaran, who is the Group CEO of Manipal Education and Manipal Hospitals. Phenomenal guy, absolute phenomenal guy. He is going to be a part of that budget analysis. The third gentleman is a great inspiration for chartered accountants. He was a chartered accountant. He started his career as a finance guy, now moved up to the managing director of Biocon Limited, Mr. Siddharth Mittal. Then fourth one is Mr. S. Rajagopal, CFO of Microland Limited. Along with them, we got Mr. P.V. Srinivasan, the great expert in Bangalore on direct taxes and indirect taxes. Along with him, we got Mr. M.R. Venkatesh, our economist, one of the great guys, lawyer, chartered accountant and lawyer, economist. And you would have seen Mr. M.R. Venkatesh in Republic TV and Times Now on many TV debates. He is going to address on the economic analysis on the budget. Solid panel. I don't want anybody to miss this panel discussion. So please tune to second morning at 9:30. Please log in and then participate in the budget panel discussion. That will be a great event for all of you. That's what I just added up. So I just pass over here because me and Parshuraman can keep on talk about the BCSC for ages, hours together. So I would like to pass over here. Mr. Ravindran, you have anything to add? Sorry, Mr. Indushekar, you have anything to add, Mr. Indushekar, before I open up for audience?
No. I think we will go for the audience. All covered. Thank you, President.
Audience, any things from your side, please?
Rupa's lifted their hands. I don't know. Rupa, you want to share something?
No, can I go ahead?
Yes, please, ma.
Okay. Kudos to our President, Mr. K.R. Shekhar, and the leadership team in BCIC for the wonderful presentation and amazing work in BCIC. I'm sure all of this is not possible without the your valuable time and efforts in all of these initiatives. As member, we all are overwhelmed to be part of this organization. So I have few things like the special reports which were insisting on BCIC Women Network and BCIC Academy of Excellence and Startup Mentoring Council. I would love to be a part of the first two, at least the Women Network and Academy of Excellence, if I can get an opportunity. That's one request. And the second thing, since I'm a young member here in terms of my membership in the BCIC, what I experience is more industry oriented, and maybe a little bit of flavor of the Silicon Valley can be added. That would be nice in terms of futuristic technologies. So that's a small suggestion. And being a part of the ease of doing business, it's been a very good initiative, and especially the expert committee, they were also very collaborative and inclusive in terms of gathering the ideas and suggestions. I was able to give a couple of suggestions there as well. So it's really interesting, and I really enjoy being a part of this association.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Absolutely, we'll be very happy to have you in our BCS as a part of our startups mentoring system, as well as the Women Empowerment Committee, ma'am. We'll be too pleased to have you. Prithvi, please take the details of ma'am and then invite her for the Women Empowerment Committee as well as the Startup Mentoring Council. Please do.
Yes, President, sir. We'll do the needful.
Thank you.
Madam, just to add that we have all the best of IT services company based in Bangalore as members. You name it, we have Infosys, TCS, Wipro, Accenture, etc. as members. and they also contribute. We have a separate team on IT.
Okay, thank you.
Great, sir. Sir, this is Dr. Balamurgan. Can I go ahead?
Yeah, please.
Sir, namaste, sir. It was very nice to see such presentations, sir, President, sir, and we are all normally used to see numbers and profits and losses, whereas every slide here is Kaizen. Like, no, I mean, everything is for improvement. There is a different presentation, wonderfully done, sir. Nice to see that, everything in one particular presentation, whatever BCIC is doing. We are all in different committees, you may not be knowing as such what BCIC is doing overall. Thank you, sir, for bringing up whatever good things BCIC is doing in one sweet presentation, sir. Yes, Dr. Balamurgan, I am there in the associate BCIC for maybe last 15, 16 years and been part of many committees. Yes, sir, I would like to be there. A couple of, my observation or small suggestion. Of course, yes, I would like to be part of BCIC Academy of Excellence. In fact, I am author of Amazon best-selling author. The name of the book itself is Right Towards Excellence. So I would like to be part of Academy of Excellence if possible. And certainly Startup Mentoring Council, because in my consulting journey, not only big organizations, we are supporting many small and startup organizations. It would be my pleasure if I can add whatever might I can add to BCIC efforts. These are the two things I wanted, sir. And suggestion, yes, I have one suggestion, sir, the committee can consider. Amongst the awards that is being given, I keep telling in our manufacturing committee also, if BCIC can install an award for the best MSME of the region, that will be really nice. Startup is there. Suppose if you recognize through BCIC the best MSME or the best MSME which is implementing, say, digital tools or whatever we are talking, or Kaizen, that is really appreciated.
Thank you for that great suggestion. In fact, I don't want to steal the thunder from my senior vice president, Mr. Ravindran. He is already part of MSME Awards, where we are working with XIME Management Organization for an exclusive MSME Awards. Sometimes I had to leave it for my office bearers because they are doing a great job. So he's not there today, and that's the reason I did not bring it to your attention. He is already working on that with XMIE, BCAC XMIE partnership, where we want to recognize the best of the MSMEs.
Thank you, Shekhar, sir. Thank you.
And as far as your startup mentoring and another one, definitely Prithvi can send the details to Prithvi, and we will be part of a startup mentoring council, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Shekhar. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.
This is Anand Lokhande from CMR University. Again, a very good presentation, Mr. Shekhar. There is, on the expert committees, I saw there is an industry institute interface, and definitely would like to connect on that as to how the educational institutions and can kind of get the students who are the future leaders in the industry to that level of understanding and maturity. So perhaps we could use one of those aspects and dimensions. So I think I will get in touch on that. I also saw another slide which was around the project reports, etc., that we want to create, and I am interested in that, how we could use the academic aspect of it to boost the quality of the reports, etc. Of course, I know there will be a lot more expertise available, but we would like to be part of that as well. So
sure,
please include us here. Thank you.
Absolutely.
This is Venkat here. If I can, for a couple of minutes, if you can spare, I can talk about the main topic. Is like I saw a wonderful presentation by the president and the past president also. Like I enjoyed having seen the presentation totally. The one thing which I would like to, create a little bit of a I don't know what word I have to use. I'm struggling for a right word. I'm fishing for a right word to use. Like on business continuity, because the organizations which are now running, they may look at, especially this pandemic is one such external issue. There may be many such external issues which will be happening. Under such circumstances, how they need out to have a business continuity, how they need to understand the risk part of it, and how they need out to mitigate those risks and then go about the business continuity management part of it. That could be one. And environmental sustainability, the other one, which is a very important topic which is moving around. These two things which I would I request BCIC to consider. If it is already there, in one of the elements which you have covered, importance need have to be given. Is my request. That's it.
No issues. Absolutely fine, sir. Thank you so much. In fact, as a part of you can be a part of the banking and finance committee. where we have a regular program with the banking industry. In fact, a couple of programs have been already organized with Canara Bank. And I would also like to inform you that we have a small core group of MSME led by Mr. P. N. Vijay, the investment banker, where we have representation from Canara Bank and Bank of Karnataka MSME advisors and couple of MSME experts. So certainly you can be a part of any of these core groups which you would prefer, and then definitely we'll be happy to take your support, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Shikhar, only one point I would like to add.
Yes, Parasar.
With your yeah. I think we are also having a lot of activities on sustainability relating to environment. I think we are sharing some of the best practices of big companies like Bosch, Volvo, Toyota, and we have very frequent visits to these companies also. And recently also there was a presentation on the Eco Park and the sustainability movement happening in Toyota by Mr. Ketkale, the Deputy Managing Director, and it was very well appreciated. And green energy and renewable energy, which has been the focus. So there is a specific committee headed by Mr. Ramesh Saligram, who heads the infrastructure and energy. And apart from that, manufacturing committee headed by Mr. Prakash also has been doing a lot of these activities. And I'm sure we can leverage a lot of these good mutually beneficial activities among the member companies. Just for your information. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, Parasar. Thank you so much.
President, this is A.V. Srinivasan here. Can I just put in a word?
Yes, no problem. Please go.
This is for all the educational institutions present here. Many of you expressed your desire to be a part of the committees and things like that. However, kindly have a look at the Industry 4.0 and initiatives and the webinars which is being done. There is a series of webinars, all very, very in-depth analysis by many of the industry leaders and also the people who are working in that area. So probably you should pay a little bit of attention to the Industry 4.0 webinars, and you can be a part of that, and the appropriate branches can understand what is going on in terms of Industry 4.0, how the efficiency is playing out, how the companies are thinking about it. This actually BCIC is really leading the way in that. And the committee is also doing a good job. There is a manufacturing committee, there is an Industry 4.0 committee. I request all of you to make use of those webinars and join the webinars. Some of the students can join, professors can join, lecturers can join. This is just a request from our side. Thank you. President, over to you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Mr. AVS. And AVS is doing a solid job in ease of doing business. So we just not only do ease of business, we're also doing ease of protocols and processes internally and externally. BCS is a flat organization, no hierarchy here, and it's a very lean organization. So you will get more interactions with BCS with our expert committees. And Srinivasan is one of our champions in the ease of doing business. So I would request all of you to join him and then make sure the ease of doing business initiative of BCS gets a flip what it deserves.
Thanks, President. Thank you so much.
Anybody else got any points, please? The last announcement, final announcement from me. February, we are planning a next set of members, and Rupa will be inviting everybody again. And if there is no COVID restrictions, we would like to do it physically with a dinner. And for, I do not know about cocktails and stuff like that, because I am not a drinker, except I am only a juice drinker. I do not know what we'll do subject to COVID restrictions, but definitely we would like to do a get together with a dinner and followed by cocktails, or cocktails followed by a dinner. We would like to do that, but certainly we are keen to have a physical meeting on the month of February. Very soon you will be getting a confirmation from Rupa on that side. I would like every one of you to participate. Not only you participate, this is an initiative. What we would like to do is that this needs, it's a what we call in a management like a multiplier effect. If you are happy about BCSC, if you are very confident, and if it meets your objectives, what you have in the industry and professional personal life, I would request you to introduce 3 more members to the BCSC, bring them to our meeting. We'll be grateful to you. That's all I would like to put it. I am not saying it's mandatory. If you are convinced about BCIC and if you believe BCIC is doing a job which can be improved upon, it, improvement is always part of our life. We never say this is the best job that we can do. We are trying under trying circumstances, we are trying our best foot forward. Sometimes it may happen that we may not be able to achieve the desired results what we wanted to do that. But nevertheless, we are putting all our heart and soul in this job, in our commitment. And therefore, if you believe in this, we request you, not only you, but get 3 more other industries, other organizations with whom you have got a connect to BCIC fold. Today, BCIC registration is almost around 900 members. We have BCIC registration. We don't have any numbers or targets in our mind. We are not a salespeople or a market people. But today we have 900 members of corporates in BCIC, and we wanted to expand in a right way. And that's the reason I'm requesting, if you believe this is a right way organization, get 3 more members for the February meeting, physical meeting where you would like to meet you all in person, have an interaction, followed by cocktails and dinner. So probably very soon you will get an invite from Rupa on that side, subject to state government restrictions on Corona. I've been joking that Corona releases more version than Microsoft. I don't know what more version will come in the February 1st week or 2nd week. If it no restrictions, we'll do a physical meeting in the month of February. That's all I would like to make a final announcement.
Thank you very much, President. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Rupa, we can log off Rupa, or is there any other agenda, Rupa, as per our?
No, sir. I think we can conclude, sir.
Ravindran, sorry, Indu Shekhar, you can give a vote of thanks, Indu.
Thank you, President. And indeed, it's been a wonderful session this morning. So on behalf of BCIC office bearers and the Secretariat, we wish all of you a very good Saturday and a peaceful Sunday too. Looking forward for a continuous engagement with the team. So it's more like a dipstick survey, take the feedback and keep improving and make sure taking the BCIC to the next level. Thank you very much. Have a nice Saturday. Bye-bye.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks all.
Thank you, everyone, sir.